Let's get to the story, this insane story, guys. And I tell you, I waited to cover this one because I was like, So if you have not heard by now, Trey Reed, a student at Delta State University, was found hanging from a tree on campus. And I'm glad I waited a little bit later to cover this story because more information has been revealed about how the police handled this particular situation. And now that more information has been released, it seems as though there may be some kind of cover up going on here because the police gave two different accounts. One account, according to the family, was that Trey Reed was found in his dorm room dead. But another account that was given to the family, which is the one that holds because people saw him, Trey Reed was found hanging from a tree on campus. So the question I want you to ask yourself as we play a little bit of investigative, little investigation here ourselves, let's play detectives ourselves. How is it that Trey Reed was found dead in his dorm room and also found dead hanging from a tree? Which is it? And why did the police give the family two different stories? Let's get into it, folks. A lot of people are talking about this. I feel like there should be more outrage about it, but this is America. Here we go.
Authorities say the body of 21-year-old Dimatravion Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickleball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried.
Well, because I am a Black student, hearing that happened to another Black student, it really made me feel, it's make me feel unsafe.
I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be happy to know like what happened.
Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence of foul play.
But pending an investigation, further investigation, and also from the medical examiner's office, we won't have more information until that part has been done.
And
now hold on to that guy. Hold on to him, okay? This is in Mississippi. I got some stories to tell you. Let's continue.
Members of Reed's family are insisting on a thorough investigation.
Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough.
Why did he say that? Let me go back a little bit. Why did he say don't let them sweep anything under the rug?
Enough is enough.
You know why? Because it's been done before. Let me tell you something. I've lived down south. I lived in Georgia. I lived in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Massachusetts now. I've lived in different places, but I never lived in what we call the deep South. You know what I'm talking about? The deep South I consider to be Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, like that, Alabama, that section there. I've never lived there, but I done been there. And let me tell you something. There have been stories for years of Black men in particular just gone missing. Just boop, 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 bye. Where'd they go? What happened to them? And nobody seems to know anything. There have been a number of stories, and you're going to see just how many Black men have been found hanging as well. This is not a new thing. And some people, the way that they've been talking about this to make it seem like, oh my God, I can't believe a guy. And I'm talking about Black people too. Oh my God, I can't believe they found a Black guy hanging. Oh my gosh, what's going on? This has been going on for years, but these incidents aren't looked into far enough, or they start to look into it and then they just say, okay, whatever, this is done here. I warned you guys about the black twin boys in Georgia that were supposed to be headed to the airport to come to Boston, and they disappeared into the mountains and they found them dead. I warned you guys back then. I said, how they end up in the mountains where there's no cell signal when they were supposed to be going to the airport, and who was supposed to drive them to the airport? Notice how they just dropped that. You don't hear anything about it now. Let's go on.
University President Daniel Enos says the discovery left him heartbroken as he extended his condolences to Reed's family and friends. He added DSU would help students, faculty, and staff with the grief.
We thank you for watching and
Okay, now again, on campus, and let this be a message again to everyone, to students, if you're watching your student. I always used to tell my students this: college campuses are not safe either. Like, you may feel like you're safe because you're there with a bunch of students and you're just like, whatever, this is school and we're all cool together. No, you still have to be careful on college campuses as well. Like, people get mugged on campus. These things happen, right? So let's get into this a little bit more. Like I said, this story is very strange. Family of a black student found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. They are demanding answers. So Trey Reed was 21 years old. 21 years old. Listen to this. Students had been back on campus just shy of a month when the body of Trey Reed, a 21-year-old black student, was found hanging from a tree on campus Monday. Reed's death has ignited calls for justice and online speculation that he was the victim of a lynching, even though authorities have said there was no evidence of foul play. Families of other black men who have been found hanging in Mississippi and were determined to have died by, they unalived themselves, are also questioning their official causes of death. Guys, this is what I was trying to tell you. Sorry, let me go back. This part right here. Families of other black men who have been found hanging in Mississippi. What the police oftentimes do with these incidents is they just write it off and say, oh, well, they just ended their own life. They don't look into it further. This has been a thing. And remember when they were trying to, like, Congress was trying to pass those anti-lynching laws and all that kind of stuff, which still there's no anti-lynching law passed or whatever. It's crazy that in 2025 you even have to do that. But this has been happening in Mississippi. This has been going on. And a lot of people don't know about it. Like I said, if you not living down there and stuff like that, a lot of times these stories are buried by the press. There should be a lot more outrage over this, but there isn't. Now it goes on to say here, and that's Trey Reed there. Again, a student. They say they believe their loved ones were victims of lynchings in a state with a history of racially motivated violence, including 1955 lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till. Reed's family has not publicly commented on his death except through attorneys. Now let's fast forward to this part here. Now the family, they're demanding an independent autopsy. So Trey Reed's family calls for independent autopsy after he was found hanging in a tree. Police say video exists. Okay. Now let me tell you why they're asking for this, right? So the story that the police gave has changed, right? It says here, the family does not know exactly what happened on September the 15th of 2025. We are seeking answers from Delta State University. We're seeking answers from the coroner's office. Delta State University staff discovered Reed's body hanging from the tree at 7:05 a.m. Monday, September 15th, in the middle of campus, where the 21-year-old had just begun attending college. So right there in the middle of campus for everybody to see. Hours after his discovery, Delta State University Police Chief Mike Peeler said in a press conference that no foul play was currently suspected. So let me get this straight, right? Okay. College campuses have cameras. I worked at university for 10 years. College campuses have cameras. They have cameras all around campus. You may not see them, but they're there. So surely those college cameras should tell us exactly what happened, right? Wouldn't that have been the first like measure from the police? Let's check the cameras. And now they're saying that video does exist. Why wasn't that? If the video does exist, then that means that they have seen the video. If they've seen the video, why did the police tell the family two different versions of the story? Goes on here. Listen to this. The same day, two officials from the Bolivar County Coroner's Office said Trey Reed had no other visible injuries that would indicate an attack prior to this hanging. Okay, but that doesn't mean he wasn't hung. Listen to this part. The media knew before the family did. Vanessa Jones criticized Delta State University and Bolivar County officials, telling the Mississippi Free Press that both had left the Reed family completely in the dark after the discovery of Trey Reed's body, failing to properly communicate with them in their darkest moment. This is another thing I find strange. They contacted the media before they contacted the family. Weird. The media, the lawyer said, knew about Trey's death before the family did. That's one of the reasons for the urgency of this press conference, because the family is getting all of the information secondhand through the news. And a confusing incident occurred the morning of Trey's death. The Grenada County Sheriff's Department arrived at Trey's family home approximately at 9:15 and informed the family that Trey was found dead in his dorm room in his bed. Now, hold up. How was Trey found hanging from a tree and also found in his dorm room dead? So the police have two different stories that are going around here. In this press conference, which you are going to see, he is questioned about that. This officer here, who announces to everyone that he was the second person on the scene. He said, I was the second officer there. He says this proudly. Listen to what he says about two different stories from the police.
An effort of Delta State Police, Cleveland PD, Bolivar County Sheriff's Office. Yes, did we lay eyes on the student? I did. I was there. I'm one of the first on scene. And then again, it's an ongoing investigation.
You're answering my question, and you're including all these different agencies. I'm asking about you, the head of the office.
Again, I was there. I was the second.
So everybody hearing, he was there.
The officer from my department on the scene.
Yesterday, Trey's grandfather said that the first call he received, the officer told him that Trey was found in his room. But then the next call he received, and I'm quoting him, they said he hung himself. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge of any calls that the grandfather received. I know I did speak to the grandfather for the next of kin, and outside of that, I can't answer what calls he received and who he received them from.
Pause. We got a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Because now, once again, these are two different stories. So the police officer who was the second one on the scene tells you he can't tell you anything about a call that the grandfather received that said he was found dead in his dorm room. A call. When we go back to this article, Grenada County Sheriff's Department arrived at Trey's family home at approximately 9:15 and informed the family that Trey was found dead in his dorm room in his bed. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a problem, boo. We have arrived. They arrived at the home and we have they called the home. Which one is it? Or did they do both? If I could speak to this police officer face to face, I would just look at him and say, you know, you done fucked up, right? These are two different stories, and somebody's hiding something. Somebody is not telling the full truth here. It does not make sense to me. You can't be dead in the dorm room and also dead hanging from the tree unless somebody moved you from your dorm room to the tree. Either way, campus cameras should be able to catch all this. Two, they're talking about a phone call that was made to the family, but the article says that the police arrived at the family home. So which one is it? Something isn't right. Something is really fishy with this story. Let me let him go on just a little bit more.
Any videos exist? There have been reports of alleged videos.
There are videos, and they're in the hands of the investigative team. Right now, Cleveland PD is leading the investigation. This is our investigation, but they're leading in the investigation.
So there was surveillance video that captured what happened to Trey on campus at the time of his death?
I can't speak at that at this moment. Again, there is video, but it's still, the investigation is ongoing.
There's still video, but the investigation is ongoing. There was a movie called Menace to Society, and that's where I get that line from. The actor, I think his name is Bill Duke. He was in the interrogation scene when he was questioning not Trey. It was it Trey? Yeah, character Trey. And Trey couldn't get his story straight. And he said, first you said you went to the store. Now you say, and he spoke so slow and calm when he said it. Other people can imitate this better than me. But my favorite part was when he said, you know, you done fucked up, right? But this particular story here, ladies and gents, it don't make sense. Why did the media know before the family? Why did the police tell the family that he died in the dorm room? And then also tell him that he was found hanging from a tree? Where is the video, which he says does exist? Did the campus cameras, catch what happened here with the video? Did they catch anything? The cameras on campus? And more importantly, I don't know. Guys, I'm telling you, look, I went to college. I worked at universities. And I'm just here to say, I find it very hard to believe that no one saw anything. You have kids walking around on campus all different times, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, especially if they out partying late at night, etc. But considering that Mississippi has a history of this is something that people do need to pay attention to. I told you this is not new. As you can see over the years, Black people lynched in recent years, 10 deaths that shook the nation. This article came out September 17, 2025. We're just going to name them. Of course, Trey Reed is the first one here, right? A lot of people don't talk about this stuff, but it happens. Yvonne McGee. Let me make this a little bit smaller there. There we go. Yvonne McGee. He's the one where a truck driver, he was a truck driver and he was found dead September 11th, 2024. Henderson, North Carolina. Trevante Jamal Sherbert Helton, 29 years old. He was found hanging from a tree in Swallow Creek Wildlife Management Area in Hiwassee, Georgia. Denoris Richardson, and as you can see, he had, a family. He was found hanging in an abandoned house in Colbert County, Alabama. Anybody noticing a pattern here with these incidents? Where are they found at? Pay close attention. Here's another one. Dominique Alexander. See, people don't talk about this stuff. He was found, this is the different location, found hanging in Fort Tryon Park in New York City. Robert Fuller. Robert Fuller, he was found hanging from a tree in Poncetlon Square in Palmdale, California. Malcolm Harsh. Malcolm, he was found hanging from a tree in Victorville, California. Earl Smith, they don't have his picture, but he was found hanging from a tree in Albany, New York. And with a lot of these cases, the police ruled it as they unalived themselves. That's been the ruling. Yolna Lubrin, I remember this one. She was found hanging from a tree in Orlando, Florida. I covered this story. This was 2023. Right? Amari Bryant. He was found hanging outside the Southern Pines Inn in Homerville, Georgia. The Mississippi suspected lynchings. Here. At least 8 Black people have been lynched in Mississippi since 2000. These stories need to be covered more. And a lot of people don't talk about it, and including in independent media. They don't even cover this stuff. It's like they don't even want you to know about it. They don't give a damn. And I just say, like, to the police officers, again, a lot of those incidents, they just ruled it as, oh, well, they took their own life. Even after family members asked them to look deeper into it. This is a pattern. And you may wonder, well, the police, are they insane? No, they just don't give a damn. Got to pay attention, folks. We got to pay attention to what is going on out here in these streets. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.